right. We're live.
We are live. It's going to be weird, gosh, because we're a little lagged there, my friend. Let's see. I may not be able to play the sound here. Okay. Yeah, and I got the. Well, we'll let people join in and get going. Brett, you got me okay?
I've got you fine. You got me?
Yep, I got you. All right, guys, we're going to let some folks file in here. I am just trying to kind of get my bearings. Brett and I are we're split up. It's so hard to. We're split.
Well, you know, if you had told me that you were at the office, I would have come in. I didn't know.
I know. It's okay. Let's see here. We're just letting folks, guys, come in. So share it with a friend, tag a friend, start hitting the like button, hitting the heart button. Give us the love, and so we can get the algorithm up and going. And you got Snowski there. You guys see Snowski? Hit the love, hit the like, hit the love, hit the like. Come on, tap it. You got to tap it fast. Tap it fast. But we're gonna get going on an analysis here shortly. You know, again, it's one of those things where I don't know. The data that's continuing to come in. It's unlike really anything we've seen. Do you have a better explanation, Brett? Because
No, I'm at a loss for words.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just it's very aggressive data, and we're going to go over it. So as soon as people are ready to rock and roll, we'll get going. Brett, if you would, so a couple things. We're going to kind of ramp up the seriousness of the message today. I want to start taking this a little bit more serious. You know, we kind of play around quite a bit. We entertain comments and things of that nature. I can tell you right now that the storm coming in with the models that just ran an hour ago, myself, Brett, and Vince, we looked at it very, very deeply, detailed analysis, comparisons to different runs. And if the models are correct, the trends and everything that they're doing, we're looking at a historic snowstorm. We're looking at a snowstorm that would top charts, break records, be in the top 3 heaviest snow events that South Central Indiana has ever seen, at least on record. I know that sounds crazy, but that's what we're saying. So here's what I would ask of you all. Is that you hang with us on comments. I'm not going to be able to look at the comments for a little bit. I want to go through the analysis with you and talk to you about the threats and really the impact to life and travel and property. I mean, is really what we kind of want to talk about here. We're really not playing any games anymore. So all the riffraff, childish comments and all the things like that need to kind of be put on the back burner for now. So let's take a look. All right, let's get into the latest. I'll start with the HRRR, Brett.
Yeah, I think that's the run that is, has us at a loss for words, to be completely honest, because it's just coming in with some insane snowfall totals that would certainly produce more than a foot of snow. Maybe it even has some totals at 2 feet of snow, which is kind of crazy to think about. And so the big thing on this particular run is it got stronger with the low, and so it brought in even more dynamics, but it also got colder, and so it just combined to be really the perfect run.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yep. Okay. Well, let's get into it. Let's kind of talk about the onslaught here at the beginning of the precipitation. Again, we're not going to be answering comments yet. So just so you know, no comments are being addressed right now. We're going to talk about, we'll address comments as we can. I don't even know how many people are watching right now. I have a feeling the next live tonight and possibly early tomorrow, we'll see record number of live watchers anyways. I don't even know where it's going to be. So it's going to be really, really difficult to filter through literally thousands of comments a minute. We ask that you do share it. We ask you subscribe and follow the pages. We appreciate all the support. Let's get into the analysis. HRRR model. Okay, looking ahead to when this is going to kind of get in and get going here across the area, across Southwest Indiana. This is tomorrow at about 14Z Sunday morning, so it's 20 hours out, right? This is high resolution, rapid refresh data. This particular model runs every hour. It's done pretty good. It's been very, very consistent on its suggestions of how the storm system is going to behave, the timing, the impacts. We've had 3 straight runs of very consistent outputs from the model. And bigger, broader storms that are more organized, this model handles better than kind of the little events that are not, typically handled too well. Okay, so Brett, I had someone say they can't hear me. I just want to make sure sound is okay. Can you hear me okay? You seen anybody else say that?
I can hear you okay. You may have to turn my sound off when I'm talking, though, because I think it's causing an echo.
Okay. Yep. Anyways, if you see anything about sound, holler at me.
Will do.
I'll look here on the comments. I don't want people to not be able to hear. Okay. So this is tomorrow morning at about 7 or 8 o'clock. Okay, 7 or 8 a.m. Some of the initial snow that starts falling will be not hitting the ground. We'll have to overcome some dry air issues. Okay. Once we overcome dry air, the snow will start coming down. You look at the way this looks on the map. This is just a crazy, massive storm system impacting basically almost 2,000 miles of landscape here from west to east. It's a crazy, crazy big storm. Okay, just really mesmerizing to look at on many fronts here. If you look at it on the maps here, throughout the day Sunday, where you see blue on here, it's snow. Okay. I understand there's people from everywhere. I can't get specific for everybody. It's just not possible. But I do want to just note generally that snow is blue, and this is very, very heavy snow. When we're analyzing the SQTs or the soundings of the atmosphere, right? What we're noting is in these areas here where the darker blues are filled in, you see the darker striations and the blues and whatnot. There's indications of an inch and a half snowfall, almost 2 inches per hour of snowfall rates. And that kind of thing is just not really common. That's just not something that we're used to, is that type of intensity in snowfall. And that's why you start getting into record territory with the snow, how quickly it accumulates inside of one day. But you can see just the expansiveness of this, and I just want to reiterate how heavy that snow is going to be, by the hour. Okay, so I just want to make sure we understand that. As I go forward here, what you can see is just a continuation of, this is 4 p.m. Sunday, very, very heavy snow falling from southern Ohio, Cincinnati, Indianapolis, over central Illinois, northern Missouri. At the same time, just a prolific ice threat developing across central Missouri, Illinois, south central Illinois or southern Illinois, and southwestern Indiana, looking at potentially just an unfathomable amount of ice. Some data is up to an inch of ice accretion. It's crazy amounts of ice there. This look right here again is Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern time, and it would be snowing at rates of an inch to possibly 2 inches per hour. Okay. I'm going to take it here to 7 p.m. Continue to see very heavy snow falling, very, very dark blues, again from Cincinnati over to Indy, Bloomington, Columbus, counties from Indianapolis south, Morgan, Johnson, Shelby, Bartholomew, Monroe, Brown, counties, you're looking at the brunt of the heaviest snowfall threat right now. Right, I-70 south, you're looking at, again, a potentially record-breaking snowfall in the amounts here if the models continue to do what they're doing. So we don't have a reason to believe that they're not going to do it. So that's where we're at for now. Tomorrow night, 7 p.m., you're looking at winds gusting 25 to 35 miles per hour, possibly 40 miles per hour at times. And then the visibility in these weather models suggesting near zero visibility, almost some of the lowest visibility suggestions we've seen in some of the outputs of the models. You know, it's interesting how intense the model is with this forecast. I'm going to take it out here to 10 p.m. All right, this is 10 p.m. Still seeing snow, but I want you to notice something here. This is where we want to get in a little bit to the analysis a little bit. Is the area of low pressure down here across southwest Kentucky. This is the center of the low. This is where the storm center is, right? As we start to pull, we're going to start pulling in warm air from the south. As that happens, warm air will start working in here up to Indianapolis, from Terre Haute to Indy to Connorsville, to Rushville, right? Over towards Cincinnati. That warm air is going to rush in. Well, because some parts of the atmosphere in the lower levels are still pretty saturated, surface temperatures are staying in the low 20s to even low teen or upper teens on the backside of when this warm nose works in. Well, what that's going to do is that's going to allow for a period for the snow to relax from about 10 p.m. tomorrow night. So Indiana, north central, south central Indiana, portions of Illinois, snowing hard. Let's call it 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., 12 hours of snow, inch to 2 inches per hour. The warm nose works in, and we start to see indications in our atmospheric setup in the analysis of the upper levels of the atmosphere of freezing rain, sleet, and drizzle. When you have temperatures in the low 20s and then even falling into the upper teens, and likely you've got a foot or more of snow that's fallen. We're going to talk about snow totals in just a minute. Here across central Indiana, from I-70 south, you're going to have 12 inches plus of snow, possibly. And you're going to throw a coating of ice on this, a trace to 1/10 of an inch of ice from about 10 p.m. tomorrow night to about 10 a.m. Monday morning, okay? With falling temperatures and winds gusting upwards 30, 35, maybe instances of 40 mile per hour winds. Situation like that is almost worst case scenario for travel and for power. You're going to have heavy snow on the power lines, on trees. You're going to throw a little bit of ice over it. It's going to probably double the weight of the snow. The wind's going to blow, and we become concerned about power outages. Brett, after I want to show the power outage map. I didn't throw it in, but you know, this is concerning. I want to show you how much snow the model puts down with the first wave. 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Sunday, first wave, right? Forecast model, HRRR. All right, here starts the snow. I'm going to take us out through the end of round one, which is right here, essentially. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, pull it over this way. Okay, so places like Bloomington, Brown County, Johnson County, Morgan County, Shelby County, Bartholomew County, Jasper, Bedford, right? Columbus, Seymour, south from Indy, south, and that about 3 county row there. Those are suggestions of 12 to 18 inches of snow. I'm going to back it up one frame just to back off any potential wasted accumulations. And I'm going to zoom in. All right. That's the HRRR model. And we're using what's called a dynamical ratio to look at snowfall. Make sure we have an accurate depiction of the snow that's going to accumulate. No matter how you cut this, if it's 10 to 1, if it's the Kuchera method, if it's the dynamical ratio, they're all putting down 15 inches or more snow. what happens is when you start seeing numbers like this, you have to look at the historical data. Does it even support it? Has it even happened before ever? It has. 1999 maybe, and 2004, maybe it was 96, a couple of years where we had instances like that. Do those years sound right, Brett? I can't remember if those were the couple of years where we had some really big snows. Definitely it was 04.
'04 was the big one in southern Indiana.
Okay, so this is the HRRR model. We have other models like the RAP, the NAM models, the GFS, the FV3. The European came back further north. And we have a lot of data suggesting this. It's not like we're picking one and just saying, okay, this is going to be the one, that gives us the most, so we're going to show it. This is the first wave. You're going to get a period of freezing drizzle, sleet, dry pocket here, 10 p.m., 10 a.m. Sunday. There's another wave that will come through Monday and offer up a 1/2 inch to 1.5 inches on the backside as Arctic air crashes in and it gets cold. Okay, that's the model's depiction. We've got other models that will come in, and we'll talk about those later tonight. We'll probably go live again tonight. What do you think, Brett, is a good time to go live again tonight, about 9:30?
Yeah, 9 or 9:30, I would say.
have that.
6 hours from now.
Okay, yeah, about 6 hours from now, 9:30ish, we'll call it another live this evening and see what the models are doing. This has done this 3 runs in a row, and it's trended stronger with every run. So just something to keep in mind that, that's kind of what we're up against right now. Brett, did you have the power outage map that you could show and talk about?
Yep, let me pull that up here. I've got a couple of things, and let me know if the sound is okay. I know we were having some issues with that, I think with the echoing, but I'm going to pull this up here, guys, and share this first. Let me actually, before I do that, here's the power outage map. Here we go. Share my screen here. All right, let me know if you can, let's see if we can see this. There we go. Let's make this full screen. All right, so here's a look at the power outage map, guys. The highest risk is going to be down across southern Illinois, southeast Missouri, southwest Indiana. That is where we have a combination of heavy snow, heavy sleet, and a lot of ice as well, combined with the winds. And so the power outage concerns are the highest there. I think it's also worth noting that these areas in southwest Indiana, western Kentucky, southern Illinois, eastern Missouri have a lot of trees too. And so that just makes it easier for down trees and down power lines. But certainly with the wind coming through and the amount of the snow, we have the potential, and it's very likely that there will be some power outages across the southern half of Indiana and now into northern Kentucky. And Michael, if you want here, a couple of things real quick. This is the latest NAM 3 model. Nope, not that. We'll show that in a second. Here's the latest NAM 3 model that came in. It's not as aggressive as the HRRR, but this, magenta color, I don't know, this darker pink color that you see here, that's still forecasting 12 inches plus of snow from Johnson County, Bartholomew County here, and out towards the Cincinnati area. So it continues to be a very heavy look as well for really the same area, just not quite as aggressive as the HRRR. All right, so I'm going to pull this.
I think too, Brett, what I'd like to do is, while you're showing that real quick, I'm going to pull up the NAM 3 on the Nerd site and see what the dynamical looks like there.
I looked at the dynamic ratio, Michael, with it. It had a couple of weird holes. I don't know if it was some kind of feedback, but I decided not to show it because of that. It had a couple of weird spots. Like for Bloomington, you'll see the total that it had. It didn't really make sense. I didn't want to confuse anyone. But this is the travel impacts. And so the only reason this isn't a little bit further north with the extreme is just because of the lack of ice. We won't have as much ice up towards I-70, where areas across the southern third of the state are going to have extreme impacts from a combination of sleet, snow, and ice. But guys, major impacts are still major impacts. It's just where you get the mix of ice, sleet, and snow, it becomes very, very challenging to remove that. Very, very challenging to remove that. And then you have down power line issues and things like that. Hope made this map as well. And by the way, real quick, this map is powered by our friends at Nice Construction Services. They've been working with us throughout this live stream. Here's Ohio. We had some people asking about that. Dayton, Cincinnati, Jackson, Portsmouth, all areas in the extreme impacts. Columbus, Ohio, Lancaster, Zanesville, Athens, all in major impacts likely with this winter storm. Just going to be a widespread event that we're going to be dealing with here over the next couple of days.
Yep, it's remarkable for sure, Brett. What I'm going to do now is kind of go through. Have we seen any updated verbiage at all from the Weather Service on anything?
Let me see. I'll pull that up. While I pull, why don't you give Express Steel a shout out real quick?
Yeah, Express Steel, the big old shout out. Hey, so again, we're doing these lives, guys, because of Express Steel. They sponsor these, and they're out of Martinsville, Indiana. Visit expresssteelinc.com/BAM or visit them on their Facebook page and like them and let them know you saw them on the BAM stream. Thanks, Express Steel, for sponsoring the stream. We appreciate you. Okay, so what I'm going to do is kind of go through, I'd like to go through Clarity. If you turn your screen share off and turn me back on, and kind of talk about some of the likelihoods, the potential here. You know, we've obviously shown some intense. We showed an intense outcome from the HRRR. We have to put our name on something, of course, and say, hey, what's the forecast going to be? And that's again, obviously the tough part is, putting your name to something and saying what's going to happen. That's the big deal right now. Is all right. What do we think is going to happen? Well, this is the Clarity platform. Yeah, this is the platform that our clients have access to, right? That they pay for, they get access to it. This is the snowfall forecast right now from our blend of over 100 different weather models, pretty much across the world. This is the suggestion here of snow. Now I'm kind of in the way, but if you can see anywhere where you see the red, all right, I go all the way back out here, you can even see portions of West Virginia and Ohio. Anywhere where you can see the red, that's 8 to 12 inches of snow. And that's kind of our way of approaching this as responsibly and as safely as we can. Where you see the yellow work in, that is 12 to 16 inches of snow. So that first kind of almost, dirty yellow color would suggest, you're 12 to 16 inches of snow. Out here in western Ohio, there's actually an indication of 16 to 20 inches of snow on the blend right now. Again, for this model to put out these types of numbers is rather rare. You're looking at a blended ensemble mean of 100 different weather computers. And so to see it putting this out is certainly rather interesting. I'll kind of go and give you guys a tour so you guys can see who's getting what where. All right, this is northern Missouri, southeastern Nebraska, northeastern Kansas. You've got a swath here of 12 to 16 inches of snow. Just north and west of Kansas City, just nasty snow wrapping around, going in through north central Missouri. And that's kind of along and north of, or kind of along Interstate 72 there, where you're seeing 8 to as much as possibly 16 inches of snow. You go over here into Illinois, and again, you can see the continuation of very, very heavy snow just north of St. Louis. You can click on the map, right? You can, if you're a subscriber and you have the layer, you can click on the map and it'll give you the actual outcome and the value for anywhere on the map. You can zoom down into street level if you want, and it gives you that information. But it's really cool. Here, I'll show you just how far you can go down, and you can just pan and zoom anywhere. Like I'm out here in southwest of Springfield, Illinois right now, and I've got locations just southwest of Springfield, Illinois on here telling me I'm going to get 14 inches of snow on the Blend's weather model right now in terms of all the blended outcome here, okay? So very neat tool. We'll go over here, we'll do a local tour. You know, a lot of our viewers are in Indiana. We know that much. We'll go here across central Indiana and kind of show you the thought process here. Try and get a good view there of the heaviest swath. There we go, right there. So here's Indianapolis. All right, you can see how there's a sharp line here, kind of that 8 to 12, and then the 12 to 16 inch forecast here on clarity. And again, I've got a 36 model average here in Indy of 11.1 inches for a 24-hour snowfall record in Indy. That would place it in second place ever since data was kept if it happens within 24 hours. So that's something to keep in mind. Down here to the south, if we start getting into the 16 plus inch totals, you're talking about breaking a lot of records. The blend, we're going to say right now it's 12, locally higher with that particular solution, the way you would look at that. You've got, we can do some clicking around so I can kind of, give you a little bit more there, and you're going to see my back for a second here. I'll kind of turn a little bit like this, but I'll zoom in. And again, Indianapolis 11.5, Noblesville 9. That may be a little high. I'm actually going to show you a custom map here in just a second for zoomed in for Indiana. But there in central Johnson County, 14.2 inches. Up to the north, you can see a very sharp cutoff. Fort Wayne, maybe 1.5 inches. Lafayette, 5.5. Muncie, you're on that 6 to 8 line. And then you kind of come over here to the epicenter of it on the blend at least, and you can see a large section here, indications of 15 inches of snow. And so kind of interrogating that, you can see that. Now, I know a lot of folks have commented about, this channel's saying this and this channel's saying that, and the accumulations are this and that and the other, and I understand that. I understand there's a lot of different. I think when you talk snow totals like this, naturally people get very nervous to talk about these types of snow totals. So I get it. We're nervous too. We're like, gosh, is this really going to happen? Can we really get this much snow? I mean, I don't know. Well, a lot of data that says you can when you start looking at it like this. So what I want to look at now is the probabilities. I want to look at the probabilities of seeing 6 inches of snow in a 48-hour period. All right? 6 inches or more in a 48-hour period. And you can see this will help kind of give you an idea of where the heaviest suggestions of that are going to be. The first black line is 50% or higher probability of 6 or more inches. The second black line is 75% or more higher probability. The third is basically guaranteed, almost 100% probability of 6 or more inches of snow in the event. Okay, again, using a blend of weather models from everywhere. So we're trying to use a conservative approach. We're trying to use some sense here as to what we think is going to happen. That's what the blend's saying for 6 or more inches. Here's what it's saying for a foot or more in terms of total snow. Again, we're going to be getting new maps on this here in about 25 minutes. But epicenter there, 45% probability, Johnson County, Brown County, of a foot or more of snow. That is a high probability for that type of snow. I mean, that's a big number. And so, just something to keep in mind. It's interesting. So again, a lot of questions here on the East Coast. I will show you the future snowfall forecast real quick for the East Coast. That's the idea right now. You're looking there across southern Pennsylvania, the heaviest snow in the southern county row or so, 8 to 12 inches, locally higher here across northern West Virginia, southern New Jersey, perhaps southern and southwest New Jersey, 8 to 12 inches being possible. Very sharp cutoff. You see it, you get right across the central Pennsylvania and points north. You're not going to be looking at much snow at all there. But get clarity and you can kind of kind of point and click around. So let's look at, Brett, do you have anything to add to that in terms of what I've said? Is there anything that you want to mention there? I can't hear you, Brett, if you're talking. I don't know.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Sorry.
All right. I would say that, as you mentioned, I think this map here is probably the most responsible way to kind of look at things. I was just about to mention kind of pulling up some of the ice totals
Yeah,
because
I'll pull them up.
I, I think that that's going to be, in terms of the what you end up seeing on the national news. This ice is going to be a big deal. Because once you start getting over a half an inch of ice, you're talking about crippling in terms of trees and power lines. And so Evansville, just south of Louisville, Lexington, down through central Missouri, these areas are in big trouble. I would imagine if there's not, I don't remember if there's ice storm warnings that have been issued in these areas. You've got snow too, so they may opt for winter storm warnings, um, but a big deal down here.
Well, let me look, Brett. I can probably check on the. I'll just go here and display the current alerts. I know you guys keep seeing my back of me and my butt, but whatever. And show you the current alert map here and show you what that looks like. And we'll just go to winter in general. But there's your current alert map. Out here across northwestern portions of Missouri, they've upgraded those, it looks like, to blizzard warnings. Yeah, those are blizzard warnings there in Kansas and northwestern Missouri. And then down here, you've got ice storm warnings here across southeastern Missouri, southern Illinois, and south or western Kentucky there, okay? Everything else you see is winter storm warnings. What's on the northern fringe and the southern fringe is winter weather advisories, where you're still going to have some winter weather, but maybe not as intense. But you can see that there. I'm going to click on a couple of these because I'm curious to see what they say. This is a winter storm capable of producing 8 to 15 inches of snow, which is what we talked about, with gusts as high as 40 miles per hour. And that's basically going to result in blizzard conditions being possible. Brett, while I'm talking about this, why don't you maybe pull up some data to support the risk of that here? I mean, I know that's, we're nervous about that, but there is data that does that here. And I'm assuming the same data that's saying this out here is saying the same thing here. I mean, we can see it right in front of us, right? So that may be something to consider. We're still kind of waiting. Okay, so NWS and Indy they have updated the wording here. They have gone now with the winter storm warning stating 6 to 11 inches of snow with winds gusting 30 to 35 miles per hour. So that is a lot higher than what they were saying. That is a lot more impactful than what they did have. I want to go down here to a different county and just click on Monroe County. They're saying 5 to 10, as high as 35. So some of these things, I think need to be a little bit more aggressive, but nonetheless, at least they're updating that on the wording there. So, Brett, do you want to show that?
Yeah, I'm pulling that up right now, trying to figure out what the best data is. I know I'm kind of still echoing a little bit. Let me see here. The HRRR is the extreme solution at the moment in terms of the visibility. Let's see here. This might be reasonable. All right.
I'm waiting to see the new blend products come in here we get those here in about 20 minutes.
There we go.
Go ahead, Brett.
Yeah, so this is a look. This is the dam, and I think it shows it probably pretty well reasonable. This is as we work into one 1 to 4 p.m., we're starting to get visibility across the area half a mile or less generally. And it does stay like this for, I mean, on and off for a solid 6 to 9 hours, I would say. I think that bottom line, at times, blizzard criteria or blizzard like conditions, whether they'll actually issue it or not, I don't know, because it does look like it could be a little bit on and off. But you can see, we've got gusts, especially as we work into Sunday night, 30 plus miles per hour at times. And so blowing and drifting snow, I think, going to be a major problem.
Yeah, I mean, you know, at what point do you say you start trusting the data or not? It's just such a thing. It's such a hard line to walk, and you wanna try to be conservative. You also want to try to make sure people understand what's at least what's possible, right? So it's interesting nonetheless to see the data saying this type of stuff. The 19Z blend of models is processing right now. I'm very curious to see. I'm going to stay on air until we get that into clarity so I can share that with everybody. But we're going to share that here once it starts to come in. That's the 18Z.
The 18Z there.
Yeah. So here's what I want to show right now. Brett, if you would take me back to my screen here, and here's what I want to show right now, at least, is a map that we made locally here across the state, across central Indiana for all of our folks that watch here locally. We tried to give everybody a pretty good idea of what to expect. And again, these are high totals. I mean, these are big totals. We're looking at everything we can here. I mean, we're looking at, the models, the soundings, the different types of data, the blends, the probabilities, everything we can, under the sun we can think about. And, it's difficult to justify not having a forecast like this, at least at this juncture. I will be honest with you, if the 0Z HRRR does what the 18Z did, we're going to have add some kind of green in here for more. This is 12 to 18 inches on the color scale. Right now we're saying 12 inches up to 18 in spots. For the map purposes of you seeing it, calling it 12 inches with isolated higher totals, you can see here across portions of Rushville, Marion County points south right here. That's 9 to 12. Like I said, I've got a model average here of 11.5 inches here in Indy. Danville, same thing, 9 to 12. Out towards Rockville, same thing. Note there's very sharp cutoff north. This will be a skinny band of very heavy snow, probably only about 2 counties wide, right? But again, this particular wave would be 10 a.m. Sunday to 10 p.m. Sunday. That's a snow map for this. This does not include any potential backside snow. This is wave 1 before the sleet, before the warm nose, before the freezing rain can mix in that you're seeing in the other forecast products. I don't disagree. That's going to happen. 10 p.m. and later tomorrow night, warm nose is going to come in. We're going to transition to a freezing drizzle and sleet all the way up into Greenfield, Indy, Danville, over to Rockville. We're going to transition to that, and it may be even dry overnight tomorrow night at times with a mist or a drizzle. And then the backside wave would come in, and right now we're kind of thinking, we're not going to include those in the totals because the backside wave sometimes can fail. But if it did, it would add a half inch to another 2 inches of snow on top of this Monday, with Arctic air coming in and temperatures crashing. And so a lot of thought went into this, a lot of risk assessment and analysis and talking about, do we want to show it? Are we going to say it? What are we going to do? What am I missing, Brett? Is there anything that I should say that I haven't said that you want to add to that?
No, I think the only other question I'm seeing are just about temperatures, what temperatures look like after this, especially because I think people are concerned about getting out and cleaning up.
Well, let me show them. Let me show the temperatures here. I'll just go through and kind of show a general view here of the region so you guys can kind of see what temperatures are looking like. And the best way to kind of look at that is going to be, what does the temperature feel like? That's going to be the most relative kind of index, if you will. And what's important too that I want to note is just what the temperatures feel like during the snow as well. You can see this is Sunday morning. Let's get out here as during the day as it's snowing. You know, you feel like temperatures in the teens. As I continue to go forward here, backside of this, let's talk about the backside temperatures. Into Tuesday morning and Tuesday afternoon, feels like temperatures again, teens, right? Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, feels like temperature single digits below zero. Wednesday night, Thursday morning, the cold settles in, temperatures feel like below zero. You know, Thursday night, Friday morning, they're still really cold. I mean, all of next week is barbarically cold. And here's what's interesting, Brett. We got another storm on the charts next weekend on the latest European model for another possible snowstorm. So.
And I think the GFS had it too. Both of them had it.
Yeah, I mean, so we're probably not done. You know, we talked a lot about this being a pattern that could produce a lot of winter weather in January. We've talked about it multiple times. So that this probably isn't the last snow system after this one, believe it or not. So we're waiting on, I'm just kind of playing around here, watching data come in. This is again just the new blend here. Let me go into 19Z, 10, 11, 10 inches or so of snow. Okay, still coming in. Okay, do we have anything that we want to talk about before we wrap up here? Anything that we want to mention? We've kind of talked about the timing. We've talked about the snowfall. Is there anything we want to talk about before we wrap up, Brett, that you want to mention?
I don't have anything else right now. You know, I think that Vince says that the Kansas City location by point on Clarity has the blizzard icon, so that's interesting.
Oh, interesting. Let me show you. So we can go through and analyze weather on what location?
Kansas City.
So if I go into Kansas City, guys, and I click on that forecast, and I go to the hourly forecast here, and I pull it up, yeah, there it is. This is out in Kansas City. You can see, it might be tough to read on your screen, but you've got the blizzard icon showing up on the screen there. Roads covered in snow, treatment likely, accumulations just mounting up there on the end. On the last hour, it looks like there in Kansas City on Clarity, you've got a most likely of 10 inches on a high end of 16 inches of snow. So, yeah, fun to see the blizzard icon show up on Clarity. That's quite the suggestion there. So, pretty interesting nonetheless. So, guys, I mean, that really kind of wraps up our. Here's the overnight Sunday into Monday coating of ice possible all the way up to Indianapolis. In between waves, okay? Again, the model's putting down quite a bit of snow before this happens. So this is on top of the snow. But to sum this up, it's 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Sunday. And then that's heavy snow. And then you've got the wind kicking up and ice and sleet overnight Sunday into Monday. Monday you may have backside additional snow, temperatures falling all week, and another snowstorm possibly next weekend might be on the charts. Guys, if you're watching right now, scan the code, check out the Clarity application. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow the channels that you're watching from, share it with a friend. I'm going to say we're going to come back at 9:30 tonight, talk about potentially fine-tuning the snowfall forecasts, you know, the hand-drawn maps, making sure we're kind of really drilling down on what we think is going to happen, how much snow is going to fall. And so if you come back at 9:30, we'll be sure to address all that and keep talking to you all. I have no idea how many people are even watching, Brett.
No, I noticed that the restream that we use here is not showing the total. So I don't know how many.
Why would that be? That's weird.
It's down. I looked it up. Their live tracking's down.
Oh, okay. How many are watching on Facebook? Do we know? Those are always fun to look at.
Let's see. I knew we had 6,000.
But anyways, set your phones for 9:30 tonight. All right. We'll talk about this. And we'll keep you posted. Everybody's there we go. 3,600. All right, not bad. 9,000 on Twitter. Woo, that's a lot. So yeah, look at all the comments coming in. Holy crap. We got it. We got it. We'll come back at 9:30. We'll keep you posted, guys. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of aggressive data. And yeah, we'll be back at 9:30 to keep you updated. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We appreciate all your support, and we'll talk to you in a little bit.